Oh, we are live. All right, welcome back to another Warlords 4 dev stream. And I got a new version of OBS this week since our last stream, so hopefully I didn't mess any of the settings up. Doesn't look like I did. And also, shout out to Sneaky Ass What on the last video. I I have these scenes set up to help me zoom in on certain parts of. Oh, what did we do there? So yeah, basically help me zoom in on different parts of the Forger or the Enfusion editor workbench tools. I didn't realize when I set those up that you could actually just zoom in on your phone and look specifically at what you're looking at. So I should probably get rid of these, but I had them there at some point and I clicked them and I left one of those scenes on the entire stream last time and I had no idea because I didn't have my preview window set up properly on OBS. So yeah, that's my bad. But I'm glad somebody pointed it out to me. Very helpful. So since last stream, what we've done. So essentially what I do is every Friday night I dedicate about 2 hours towards Warlords 4, even if I'm not streaming. So 2 weeks ago I was purely on the wiki studying. Oh, there's an update for New World. Cool. Don't play New World very often, but maybe I'll get that tonight. Okay, so we got to jump into our forger. And last week, what I did, I spent a little bit of work on the design document. I was just adding some notes to the team kill system, anti-team kill system, and the tech tree. Tech tree, I was kind of just fleshing out, like kind of mentally experimenting with some ideas and stuff. And then I did some more studying on the wiki, and oh man, some other servers disappeared. To grab some more favorites here. Oh, what is up with my ping tonight? So we're looking for a conflict that is not crossplay. That's weird. It says I have 45 ping to the West Coast US and a 53 ping to the East Coast US. Huh. That's kind of rare to me to have the same ping going both ways. I normally have like a 37-ish ping to the West Coast and like a 60-ish ping to the East Coast. Oh, there's seriously only 2 conflict servers in the US? It's wild. We just need to join to make sure everything's running correctly before we jump into workbench tools. And I might build a base real quick for just in case somebody jumps on the server. Okay, so let me pull up Discord and go over what we're going to do tonight. Doing this. Actually, this screen is kind of important. I need to. Okay, so I know how to do the victory conditions, I think. These are all components. I think you add to the briefing screen, I think. And I learned a bunch about the factions, like a whole bunch about factions last 2 weeks. And as far as faction goes, We were like halfway on the right track last stream, but not quite. Why are there? Wow, that's really stupid. It doesn't spawn you at main base. Stuff like that is literally why I'm never going to use base mode conflict. There we go. We're at the base. So, but we'll get more into the factions. Okay, which one was the supply place? Gotta be that one. Yep. I found out there's a bunch of stuff in the Armor Reforger engine that's really tied here to this conflict base mode, which is okay, but it means we're gonna end up, because I kind of thought with the Warlords I was gonna be able to get away with using a bunch of stuff from conflict and kind of just modify it a little bit to make a Warlords game mode. Yeah, it doesn't look like that's going to happen, unfortunately. Like the way a bunch of this conflict stuff is set up, it's all kind of tied together. And you can take conflict and you can modify it. You can't just pull random bits out of conflict and try to use them in a different game mode. At least that's my reading of the situation right now. Okay, cool. We got stuff built for people. Particularly when it comes to things like factions. Factions are very, very much tied to the conflict game mode. Still haven't gone over to Twitch and started streaming. It's because I don't understand enough what we're doing quite yet to work on other projects. Yeah, one of the big things I was studying was the data modification part of the wiki, and figured some stuff out. We were correct the other day, or when we were very first trying this stuff. We were on the right track when I should have been duplicating all this stuff. Because right now, what I've essentially done is, God, I gotta do some stuff here. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I can't remember all the new components we put into this. You're going to go right here, this object property. I can't remember which part of these components I stuck in. All I remember is we disabled the automatic respawn, but I don't remember what we replaced it with. So we're gonna save this. Oh. Okay, so game mode 1 plane. We're going to delete this. Boom, gone. All right, so then we're gonna go down here to the resource browser. For game mode, go prefabs multiplayer modes. Okay, so we have a couple choices here. We have game mode editor, we have game mode editor full, and game mode plain. Given my current understanding, these game mode editors would be the correct thing to use, since when it says editor on here, it's designed to be messed with and played with and do all that kind of stuff. And game mode plain is just kind of your basic. I think this is the one they actually reference when you're designing a game mode on the wiki. But this is kind of just your generic, hey, this is a working game mode. You can stick it in. I'm not sure what the difference is between game mode base. So let's find, actually, let's just put all these into the world. We're going to delete all these in a second, but let's just go take a look at all these. Okay. So game mode base, we have, and I'm looking at the components here just to see what we have. A voting manager. Oh, this is for kicking people. Okay. So I see a respawn system component, but that's it. Players restriction zone manager component. All right, so that's the game mode. Let's do game mode 1 plain. This is what we were using last time, was game mode plain 1, and this does have an automatic respawn. All sign manager, destruction, game mode health. Oh, this looks like a medical system. Okay, so game mode health is a medical system. Okay. Ints name tag notification. Ints tag notification. Trying to figure out what the difference between these two are. So far, the only thing I see different is the automatic respawn, which we actually don't want. So we may end up using this base game mode. So we got possessing manager, radial menu. Then respawn, save, vote. Respawn, save, vote, RPL. Okay, so the only difference between game mode 1 and base game mode is automatic respawn handler, which we literally don't want. So go ahead and get rid of mode 1 plain. Now game mode 1 editor here, these have a hierarchy built into them, which I can see by clicking that little arrow over there. And what is this called, this other thing? So it's an editor settings entity. I have no idea what this. Oh, I think this is for Game Master. Okay. Oh, got it. Okay, so editor must be their reference for Game Master. Okay, that makes sense because a bunch of the wiki documentation is focused on like co-op stuff in Game Master. Okay. Oh, this is single player and this is multiplayer because it has a radio manager, a scripted chat, garbage manager. Okay, cool. I actually need to go pull my checklist up and make sure I have all this multiplayer stuff. That's really interesting. They attached it here. I always thought it would. Those were components that got attached over here. I think I have this multiplayer stuff in my checklist, but don't remember. Okay, yeah, I need to rewrite this. I do have this in here, but it's really not clear at what I should be doing. So multiplayer items or game mode or MP. All right, so we need delegate faction. Faction delegate prefab. I have no idea what that means. I think this is for, yeah, anything with editor means GM. Okay, so we need a radio manager. Video manager. We also need a scripted chat entity. And a SCR garbage manager. Cool. Okay, so we can delete this, delete that. So now I want to go look at some of these other ones. So let's go look at campaign, which is, this is going to be conflict, game mode 1. And we'll also take a quick look at team deathmatch base. And I imagine what this is going to be is, actually we'll look at selection. So I think these affixes, so auto is probably auto respawn, base is a base spawn, and team deathmatch would be base selection. In fact, let's pull up and we can look. Magic. Okay, so first let's take a look at all the team deathmatch. First we're going to do auto, and what we expect to see here is the automatic respawn handler component. Yep, and it is right there. Then we have all the standard call sign destruction. What is destruction? Destruction manager component. What do you do? This is the best description ever. Enables destruction. Thanks, Bohemia. I know. Got that part. Okay, it's so it's on initialization, and then it's on post initialization. I'm assuming that's what that means, because this is the event actually for on initialization. Looks like it's just Okay, this is needed for MP destruction. And there's a destruction manager. It's kind of weird though. It looks like it's set up to call later. So it seems like this is just doing RPL out to some kind of destruction manager. That seems important. We should add that. Oh yeah, I already have it. I have it on my checklist right here. Destruction manager. So apparently there's multiple types of these destruction managers in the game. Okay, so we'll need to add some notes about this. And I'm writing up all these notes and checklists right now because we're going to end up redoing all this probably multiple times, and I don't want to have to research components. Goes in game. And I don't want to have to research this every single time. Okay, so let's go back here to our base game mode. So where were we? We have game mode, game over screen, groups. Game mode, game over, groups. Next will be hint, name tags, notification. Wish I could have multiple of these object property windows open. We could do that. Okay, it does not appear that I have any way to open up a second object properties window here. I had no idea that little move window was down there. That's cool. Okay, so we're just gonna have to do this kind of manually here. Kind of lame, but this is gonna be useful information. Okay, where were we? Notification. Players possessing. Then radio respawn save voting. Radio respawn. Ooh, respawn timer component? Yeah, we'll play around with that. Okay. So that was selection. Let's look auto. Okay, it has the destruction manager, all the standard stuff. Scoring system component. Okay, we'll take a look at scoring system component. Right now, I want to have a scoreboard. It's on the design doc for Warlords 4, and I'm guessing this is what scoring system component. Yeah, okay. So this likely hooks into some kind of scoreboard system. Oh, it looks like it's hooking into the end game. Okay. But I likely need the scoring system component if I'm going to have some kind of scoreboard. Even though this appears just to be set to in the game when you get a certain score. Okay, and here's base. So we got standard. Huh, I wonder what's different about this. Okay, I'm I don't see anything different about. Oh, I wonder what is different. Strange. I'm sure it hooks into a base in some way, but I just can't see what part of it is hooking into the base. That would probably take a little more research, which I'm not interested in doing at the moment. I just want to get spawning working correctly tonight. And maybe no, I don't think we're going to work on factions tonight. I think we're just going to work on making sure we can spawn in and we are restricted to the correct loadouts. Okay, so campaign game mode, right? So campaign building manager component. Okay, I remember reading about this. Composition slot. Yep, that was another part of. These are both conflict things. And if you're going to be building a new faction, you have to like do a completely different system of faction building for these. Quite a bit more convoluted, you could say. Whoa, so many game over screens. Do I have game over in base game mode? Do. Oh, it's all the same. Okay. Initialize weather components. Okay. Why does all these other game modes not have a weather component? I guess if you don't have a weather component, it just starts off like clear. Okay, so we'll add that. Initialize weather components. Okay. And for weather-wise, we're going to have, because in Warlords Redux, I put a randomized weather at the start, randomized time and weather at the start of the mission. And something I was thinking about playing with, doing randomized weather start and time at the start of the mission. And when a sector gets captured, like doing a forced change of the weather, maybe, potentially. I don't know, because it seems like the default weather engine, and just from my own experience playing Conflict, it tends to change kind of slow and then it gets stuck. Like it'll start raining and it feels like it rains forever. Like, and I like the rain, but like I don't like the rain so much that I want it to be like that forever. So I was considering randomizing. I don't want to completely randomize the weather, but maybe add some kind of weather modifier every time a zone gets captured. Just in case, so you don't get stuck in these super long rainstorms. So you might have one sector that you're attacking in. It's like, oh, okay. But the downside of that is if sectors are getting captured really fast, I don't want to change it from sunny to, you know, raining and then right back to sunny 5 minutes later. So it's kind of a trade-off. I'll figure it out. Do want to look at this, see what this does. Oh, yeah, look at this. They literally already. This is exactly what I was talking about. So, float takes up to 24 hours and is used to randomize the initial weather. Must be lower than initial weather duration max. Okay, let's. Okay, so I can already tell you what's going on here. So 0.8, these are a float per hour. You have a maximum of 24 hours. So that probably why it feels like you get stuck in a rainstorm for so long. A 0.8 of an hour, that's 6 times 8. Wait, no. It's 40 something minutes. 0.9 would be 54 minutes. 0.8 would be 48 minutes. So yeah, your minimum time duration on the weather would be 48 minutes of the hour. I don't know if that in-game hour or real life hour, but that makes about sense. Like, and the max would be 1 hour and zero point 0.2 at 6:12. So 1 hour and 12 minutes. Surprisingly, I'm really good at calculating tenths of an hour because when you're flying, you calculate your flight time based on tenths of an hour. So I had to do that many, many hundreds of times. Name tag config components. That is something. Okay. Oh, but it doesn't have a config path. Interesting. We're going to be messing with configs a bunch tonight, too. Because some of the stuff I was doing last week with factions, I was doing it completely wrong. Like, you're supposed to be using config files, not doing what I was doing, which was manually editing stuff. It was the way I was doing it was completely archaic. Where we were trying to build FIH last week, yeah, it was bad. So hit manager components. Wait, name tags. What on earth? Oh boy. This seems like a hot mess the way this is displayed in this editor. So the wiki, they tell you a bunch of times to go open up a text editor if you're going to mess around with these configuration files, and I totally see why. This is... Dude, you can't even scroll. Like, I literally can't scroll down and see what's going on down here. Hmm. Yeah, more or less see. So there's just a default name tag, a hidden name tag, someone talking, and someone in your group. Oh, this is cool. Okay, so this is how you set the range. Zone end is how you set the range that you can see on the name tags. So this is interesting. I reported this LOS thing as a bug like 6 months ago. Because if you change your field of view, and this actually makes a lot of sense. Look at this configuration file now. So you see base angle to focus. Oh, looks like they already fixed it. Adjust zone range based on zoom. Sweet. Okay, so this is literally the bug I reported. Because your like name tags are based on a degree of field of view from where you're looking, when you change your field of view to like a really large field of view, you can't see. So, you know, if it makes sense, like say I have I don't know, 110 field of view. Like say your base field of view is 70 and the base angle to focus like and bring a name tag up, so that'd be like right here on your screen to right like here on your screen or something. So basically when you're looking at them, but when you change your field of view like really big, it stays like that, so you can literally only see something right in the middle of your screen. And then when you zoom in on your weapon, it changes your field of view, and it was causing like absolute chaos, like with the name tags. So it looks like they got the thing done for the weapon. Will adjust zone ranges relative to scope zoom. Name tags will display further. Okay, that looks like they fixed part of it, but I don't think all of it. I kind of think this is a bad system. Like, especially in a game where you can adjust your field of view. Like, I get it if you had a locked field of view, but maybe they just don't want name tags showing up on your screen. But this is a massive problem when you change your field of view big and you can literally never see nameplates unless they're in this little box in the middle of your screen. Oh, cancel. Okay, that was a rabbit hole I did not intend on going down, but we're going to add that because I want to fix freaking nameplates. The default nameplate system is hella annoying. Okay, player penalty component. Sweet, we're totally adding player penalty. This is the team kill system. I'm gonna have to actually look at that script though. This is funny. So the same guy that wrote Warlords totally wrote some of this other code because these are literally the exact same values from default Warlords. I've since updated these because they're way too loose. But 3 was his threshold. 1800 was the the ban duration or the penalty duration. You don't get banned in Warlords for killing. Warlords Redux, you get sent to the penalty box. I call it the penalty box. It's just a screen that blocks you from playing the game. This is funny. This is definitely the same guy. Like, there's zero chance those values would be exactly the same. I found some other stuff too in the code. There's at least one guy. Warlords was written by one dude originally, and that guy is definitely working on conflict because some of this stuff is, which in one way is cool and another way is bad because he stopped working on Warlords like years ago, maybe like 2019, 2018. Yeah, had to be like either early 2019 or late 2018. He stopped working on it. But since then, the community, along with Dwarden, have done a lot more stuff to the game mode. Like, we've learned a lot more about what works, what doesn't work. And unfortunately, those lessons learned did not make it over to conflict because apparently the two teams aren't talking to each other. Or it might be an engine limitation, or it might be, engineering resources. It could be a million different things, but there's definitely some modern lessons learned from Warlords that didn't make it into conflict, which is kind of what prompted me to start working on Warlords 4 because I wanted to bring like the modern stuff from like what's going on right now in Warlords into Warlord. Get it ready for Arma 4. Right, so where were we? We're in campaign game mode. Player penalty. Did I add that? Yes, got it. Player spawn point manager. Okay, I think this is the fast travel system. Yeah, I think that's fast travel. Not fast travel, the spawn on the radio thing. I vaguely remember reading something about this on the wiki. We don't want that. Radial menu, double check. Kind of just trying to see what I can pull from conflict that I'm going to be able to use. Okay, that seems to be the same. So respawn briefing and respawn menu handler. Okay. So this is where these are coming from. Okay, cool. Just looking at this, familiarize myself with the respawn menu handler. So when I add it in, I can understand it a little bit better. Spawn protection component. Yes, this is something that was added recently. Spawn protection components. Yeah, when I was talking about engineering resources, spawn protection component, this was in Warlords. And it didn't, like, I don't know, like, it's a resource thing, you know, do I need to put a spawn protection in now while the game got released? And then he added it super fast, or BI added it super fast. And it looks better than the old system. We may go through and update this though. It looks like might have been done in a hurry. Okay, he did some smart things here though. It looks like he disabling it on player spawn points. Yeah, here we go. It's checking for radio spawns. Yep. Cool. Sweet. So a lot of stuff I'm gonna have to learn when it comes to the server-side coding, like is proxy. I don't know what that means. And there's like every week somebody in Discord's talking about how to get player IDs and stuff. Probably use something like this. At least I know a reference point. Oh, and here's how you disable damage. Damage enabling faults. But you have to get okay. So it looks like for the damage meter component, you're getting the controlled entity, and then you're finding component, damage meter component. Then on your enabled damage handling faults. Cool. Basically know how to make a safe zone. This is weird. Somebody's posted in the wiki or the Discord a week or two ago talking about how to set up safe zones. I don't remember this being the answer, but that's kind of the answer. You just have to add a check if they're inside a sector or something. Okay, so here he's checking for melee and grenade throw, and he's disabling the. He's re-enabling damage, it looks like, if you change your. if you melee attack or throw a grenade. One of the things we're going to be doing, I just added that to the design doc last week. I'm getting rid of grenades completely because right now the team kill system doesn't know how to handle grenades. So yeah, we're scrapping grenades. Okay, cool. He has a check in here to see if the player's loading in. That's cool. I had no idea there was a player loading detection component. This is actually some pretty cool tech here. Okay, has more damage meter stuff. Then he's re-enabling damage appears here. Then this is doing RPL stuff. Cool. Cool system. Totally want to add that. Time and weather handle components. That's also something not in here. So strange. There's so much stuff missing from these base stuff. I'm taking the time now to research all this. Time and weather handler components. Because last stream we kind of went off, like pretty much our first two streams, we kind of went off half-cocked without doing enough research. We kind of paid the price for it. But I still learned stuff, so that's good. Yeah, okay, so this is the part of the component that we're gonna add the randomness to. It looks like they already have random starting weather, but we want to do random starting time. So that should be pretty easy. Adding a random, just overwriting this, rewriting it to be a random start time. It's a very, very easy thing to do. Ooh, I could even base game mode. So somewhere in here in base game mode, there's a there's a lat long, and can't remember where I saw it. I saw it sometime. I was doing some research somewhere. But you can actually change like the lat long and the date and stuff. I could go complete ham. And so we're gonna delete this, delete that, delete this, delete this. Okay, so we know we want to use base game mode 1, and we have all the new stuff we need to add to it to make it cool and do cool stuff. So I'm gonna delete this. And down here, we're gonna go back to game mode. Air prefabs, multiplayer. Okay, we're in our multiplayer game mode here, and what we're going to do, since we know we want to use game mode base, I'm going to right click. And so we have option to duplicate or to override. My current understanding is if you're gonna override a prefab into your mod, game mod, or whatever mod you're doing, you can change values and you can add stuff, but you cannot remove things because it's using the same GUID, and it's like, I guess, appending a meta file to it, which is you're just kind of like an add-on type of thing. Like, hey, he changed these values, he added this, you added a scope on top of a rifle or something, or you added this component to a game mode. Long term, I think this is going to be the play when we eventually get to a finalized version doing an override. Like, use the smallest prefab you can and just override it, then add all the stuff you want to do it. But whereas you duplicate it, when you duplicate it, I think you're actually creating a new GUID, I think, which this allows you to start deleting stuff and like completely rebuilding it. So like in a perfect world, what I would do is I would come over here and I would go game mode. Okay, that didn't quite work. Oh, go to create. Yeah, here to create. So I'd click the create tab down at the bottom there and I would click game mode. So, and see I have base game mode right here. I would take one of these and I would create my own prefab from scratch. But that's a lot of work. It's a lot of work that we don't want to do. So we're going to use Bohemia made game mode. We're going to use the most bare bones one we have. And we are going to come in here. And I'm going to set my game mode as active. And I'm going to duplicate this. For right now, just for experimentation reasons. Eventually, I think, because I kind of feel like there's pros and cons to each here. So if I override game mode and then I just add stuff to it, it's going to cut down the size of my mod, which I think is a good thing. Especially right now for Xbox players. Apparently they're having a lot of problems because my understanding of the override is since you're just like appending stuff on to the original, the meta file is going to be really small for your mod, which should help a ton. It's going to decrease the size of your mod, help out the Xbox players. But the bad news is I think if Bohemia ever comes in and they change something about base game mode and you have an override, there's a potential that it breaks your mod down the road because you're using something that Bohemia can mess around with. You know, like for instance, like say you use an AK-47. I'll use the example from the wiki. Say you use an AK-47 and I don't know, you decide to override the AK-47 in your mod and then you stick a scope on top of the AK-47. Then Bohemia comes back in and they change something about the base AK-47. Like, and all of a sudden, like your scope doesn't fit anymore because they changed the model or something. It could be something like that. But when we're doing a game mode, this would be bad because the base game mode, like this could completely break game mode mod. On the flip side, if you duplicate it, I think you're increasing the size of your mod a bit, which, you know, one file, it's not that big a deal, but when we start talking, you know, dozens and dozens of files we're going to end up with down the road, this could be a problem. Good news is, I think it's static. Bohemia can never, like, unless they mess with the game engine, they can't mess with my version of the game mode. But the downside is, you know, down the road, if they make a bug fix or something, like they find a bug down the road and they fix it, if I was overriding, the bug fix would get into my mission. Whereas since I'm duplicating it, and it is going to be static. Game mode, Warlords IV. I will never get that bug fix, so I would have to manually go through down the road and do it myself. So, okay, so we have our game mode entity that we duplicated from, I think stream 0 I did that, so we're going to delete that. We don't want that. So now we have our new Warlords IV game mode duplicated. And the nice thing about doing this is it sets your file structure up too, which is super nice. Okay, so I got my Warlords IV game mode over there, and now this has been duplicated into my mission. I can now go through and add my components. So let's go pull up our checklist and add all the cool stuff. Okay, so first thing I want to do is we're going to add this multiplayer stuff in. Radio. We're looking for something radio managers. confabs radio manager. Okay, so I'm gonna drag and drop this into the world, and then I'm going to drag it onto game mode 1. Okay, so now my radio manager entity is under the hierarchy of Warlords, and I need to change the name of this. Game mode Warlords 4. Okay, stop me from getting confused here. And we also need a scripted chat entity. I was just cleaning up some stuff on my checklist. Scripted chat. Wait, script chat entity. We're going to drop this in. And now I'm going to drop that into the hierarchy of my game mode 4. And I also need SCR garbage man. This is just a straight up script. No idea if I could put this in the world. Can't. Okay, so what I did there is I'm duplicating this into my project since it's a script. And then I'm going to try to figure out how I create a... So I need to get it here on the game mode. Okay, let's go try to figure out where we found that. Game mode. I think this was in one of the editor game modes. Game mode editor. Boom. Oop. Ah, here it is. SCR garbage manager. Interesting. Oh, it's SCR garbage manager? SCR garbage. How do I create a... I need to create like some kind of entity to attach this. Okay, so let's try a create here. So here I'm gonna do SCR garbage manager. Okay, cool. That worked. Didn't really need to Okay, well, that's kind of okay because we set, by duplicating that into our mission, we set our file structure up for scripts, which I'll need later on. So that's a good thing. Weird thing is this is not added to the prefab. I do not know how they got this into the prefab for game mode editor. Kind of has me worried that it's not actually attached. I wonder if I can add this here. Nope. Tell you what, let's search components, see if we can find this down here. Nope, no garbage manager down on components. Okay, so I think that's something we may have to research a bit. I feel like it's really important that this is attached to that. Oh, here we go. Create prefab instance. I don't know what that does. Yep, I'm gonna have to do some more research on that because I don't think right now this is going to be working correctly since it's not attached to the game mode. Okay, so we do have a destruction manager. Cool. We need a respawn timer component. Add a component. Okay, we're doing SCR respawn timer component. Cool. Respawn time 10 seconds. It's enabled. Next up is going to be we're going to add a scoring system, although I don't think I'm going to use it right now. So add this in, and I think no. Okay, so as long as no actions are added down here, it's not going to end the game. Yeah. So you got end game action, scoring action. Okay, so we'll add this in. We're going to play around with this later on, but you will be getting score when you kill a friendly team or score an objective or something. We're going to end up modifying that component a bunch later on. Okay, so let's do the initialize weather. Initialize weather component. Initial starting weather ID. Weather IDs are the same as used in Time and Weather Manager. This sets the weather as soon as the game has been started. The weather will loop and never change automatically. If it is empty, then automatic weather system will run instead. Okay, cool. So if you ever wanted like a very specific weather conditions in your mission, you would do your initial weather ID right here. A weather constant. Okay, this we're going to fix. We do not want super long weather systems. So we're going to change this to a 0.4 would be 24 minutes of an hour. Thing is, I don't know if this is in-game hours or real-life hours. The way the code read, it looked like it was do. Trying to figure out where is. It's got to be talking about in-game time, like 24 hours in-game time. Or is it? Doesn't say anywhere here, like. Time and weather the. Okay, here's my time and weather entity. Your default wind direction is 45 degrees, if anybody was wondering. I spelled moon phase wrong in the moon phase code. The game starts on Monday. If you're ever having a bad game of conflict, it's because you have a case of the Mondays. Maybe that's why the servers are having so many problems, yo. Maybe if they change it to like Friday for the server. Because conflict resets every couple hours, so the server's stuck in a constant case of the Mondays. um, I'm literally just trying to find out if this is using like real life time or in game time. Kind of assuming it's real life time, but I like this comment. Forces weather to a given state does not care if transition is valid or not. Seems like a lot of this stuff is missing from the component we just added. Seems like the base weather system is really flexible here. Come on, give me. Oh, this is cool. The moon phase is based on year, month, day, which is probably just pulled straight out of like a star map database or something. Time of day, your time offset. So it's probably getting time of day, that's would be in Zulu time, and it's getting your offset, and it's getting your latitude. Okay, if it's getting the moon phase based on real lifetime, then it must be setting all those other weather parameters must be based on real lifetime before. Cool. This is something nice they did. They made weather server side like authority. I think there was something wrong with Arma 3. Like when you were playing multiplayer, that Arma 3 engine, like it couldn't like properly sync up all the client's weather or something. I vaguely remember something about that one. I think I was talking to the warden about that. Or maybe it was like somebody was trying to make a localized weather system for Altus. I can't quite remember. But I remember the core problem being it was something that had to do with syncing it with all the clients. Yeah, this has got to be real lifetime. Okay, so I think I see what's going on here. So they're using real life time, but then you can accelerate the time. Okay, this kind of makes sense. Okay, so the game, the weather system in the game is running like in a 24-hour real life time clock. But then what you do in the game mode, you accelerate the time. So, like, say our initial weather duration minimum, we have this set to 24 minutes. But for instance, if I set, and my maximum is an hour and 12 minutes, but if I set time acceleration to say 4, that's gonna now be what, 6, and 6 minutes would be my minimum duration. I think what I'm gonna do, since we're gonna have some time acceleration going on, particularly like at nighttime, set that to like 2.0. So there's potential for weather to change quicker, but it will last potentially longer. Oh, dude, we're almost at stream time and I've got nothing done. I mean, I say I got nothing done, but I've actually learned a ton tonight because all the studying I was doing on the wiki, at least understand way better what's going on here. Okay, so Okay, name tag component, we already got that. So since we're here at the name tag config component, I don't know how to edit this. Can I just go in here and start editing stuff? Okay, where is name tag config? See the name tag config components. All right, it doesn't have any config path right now. Configs, name tags. Let's go take a look at name tag config real quick. I think I can fix this right now. So this is the single player version, I'm guessing. So base angled focus, change this. And zone near. Okay, that's definitely not what we want. All right, so we're going to use the multiplayer version. So we're going to use name tag friendlies, and I am going to duplicate this because I'm going to edit. Oh, cool. We have a inherit. Okay, so inherit is a new option we have since we're using a config file instead of just a prefab. And inherit works a lot like override. I'm not fully sure what it does, but a lot of the examples in the wiki use inherit, but we don't want to do that. Duplicate. Name tag friendlies, Warlords 4. Boom. Okay, so we have this, and now we're going to go here, and boom, configs, name tags, friendly, done. Okay, so we now have a configured name tag components, and I'm now going to go open this resource browser, and I'm going to fix stuff. Okay, so tag fade time. Let's see what happens. Tag fade time, we're going to make that 5 seconds. And loss, I think LOS fade delay, we're going to make that maybe 5 seconds. And base angle focus, we're increasing this to a massive amount because I like to cheese. Okay, so 45 degrees. If I'm playing at a 100 field of view, that's not quite half my screen, but that's almost 2.5 times of what it was. Let's just straight up make this 50. I hate the fact that this will adjust the range based on scope zoom. We'll just play further. Yes. Okay, and we're also going to increase the area name tag. We're going to double this to 100. I don't think I need to mess around with this stuff here. Pretty happy with that part. Okay, so save that. Okay, so we should have much more liberal name tags now. So we've doubled the angle so people with wide field of views don't get screwed. We've added a big fade time so even if they get out of your view for a bit, they don't instantly disappear. And we've doubled the range at which you can see your friendly name tags. This one is especially annoying because I don't even want to get in a rant about the name tag system in Conflict. It makes it way too easy for people on the enemy team to grief by putting an enemy uniform on. So by the time you realize, like, if someone's wearing an enemy uniform, by the time you realize, like, you don't recognize the name tag, yeah, you're dead. You're absolutely dead. I think one time I saw the dude before the dude shot me. Speaking of friendly firing, let's add a penalty system. Yay! Gonna fix the settings on this too, only because I know what works. Well, nothing ever really works to stop people that are trying to be trolls, but player penalty component. Okay, so I'm gonna set this to 2 players. We're gonna set the score to friendly AI. Penalty score limit for a kick from the match. Set that to 4. We'll set that to 6. So let's go. Can I view this script? I just want to see how he's rewrote the penalty kick system. Because what would happen in Warlords Redux is it's building an array over the course. I don't want to give any of the specifics away because people might abuse it. But over a set time period, it's building an array and it's watching whenever you get a team, whenever you kill a friendly, it's adding an item essentially to an array of team kills. And once you meet the threshold in the items in that array, it puts you into a penalty box. And once the penalty box is over, you basically get a whole new array. And it seems like they fixed some of that. So here are some lessons learned from Arma 3 that they're putting into Conflict, which is good. It seems like instead of just getting rid of the kill array, it's maintaining it, and if you continue to kill over and over and over again, even though you're receiving the penalty, it will just be like, okay, bye, we're kicking you. Ooh, -1 for session long ban. Nice. I like that. Often penalty score subtraction happens. Oh, okay, so this is how he solved it in Conflicts. Okay, so what I was talking about, how you had a set time period and you were building an array of kills. So what he did, and when you would get to the penalty box, it would then just wipe all your the entire array clean. So what he did here is so how often penalty score subtraction happens. So what that looks like that's going to do is every so many seconds, if you don't kill anybody, it's going to reduce your count by 1. and how many penalty points get subtracted each subtraction period. Okay, so what it's doing, it's taking the array and it's over a X time period, which you can define. It's removing this much score from your probably your total kill count. Oh, he has checks for vehicles. And he has you're on foot, you're on a turret. Doesn't have anything about the grenades. This is why we're gonna get rid of grenades. Just trying to see where he's actually building the array at. Okay. This, yeah, here we go. It's right here. So he's counting the penalty player data. Oh no, this is when the player's reconnecting. Interesting. Okay. This is a little bit of persistence, it appears. Huh, so saving player penalty data. That is kind of cool. What this looks like it's doing, so if you start building a penalty array and then you just disconnect and then reconnect to try to reset it, it appears to save that. That is based on your player ID. Oh, is this PC only? Oh, this, okay. I do remember people complaining about team killing on Xbox. Oh, this makes sense. Oh. Okay, here we're evaluating the player penalties. Yep, and here he's building the array for player penalty data. This is, yeah, this is almost exactly how it was done on Warlords. I'm willing to bet the same guy wrote it. Okay. Yeah, I like what he's done here. This is, so here's where he is doing this, removing items from array. And then here's where he's checking. And there is a, oh dude, you can kick via script. I'm so happy. They removed this back in like 1.41 or something in Arma 3. Like you had to have a server password in order to kick people. So dumb. I get it because Arma 3 has problems with script injection stuff, but yeah. Apparently they fixed that, so you can kick people via script. And here's where he's adding penalty score. Cool, he's just adding points. Okay, this is a really good system. I really, really like that for PC players. It's okay. Instead of doing the session long ban, since that can be kind of harsh in Warlords, we're gonna set that to 1 hour. 3600, I think, is an hour. A penalty subtraction period. What would be a reasonable amount to set this to? Let me grab my calculator. Um, so we're gonna do 20 times 60, 1200. Okay, so every 20 minutes you go without a team kill, your subtraction, you lose 1 point. So the friendly kill penalty is 2. And every 20 minutes you're going to lose a score of 1. And if you choose to kill a total of 6 friendlies, you get banned for 1 hour. Okay, so kill somebody, say I'm sorry, and you don't kill anybody else for 20 minutes, you're free and clear. You can accidentally kill somebody again. But if you kill 2 people within 20 minutes, you'll be in a penalty box, or whatever the penalty box is. And then once you hit 6 total people killed, you get a ban. Okay. Not ban, but a kick for 36, 1 hour. Okay, cool. I like that. I like that. And we're over stream time, but I feel like we're doing good stuff here, so I'm going to keep going. I wanted to actually get the full spawn system and stuff working, but we'll end up covering that next week. So here's another issue. I don't think I can edit this. So this is the spawn protection system. Can I edit this? It's read only. Crap. How do I? So I think what I'm going to have to do down the road for this, because I want to fix some stuff in here. At least document it a little bit better. Uh, get game, get call queue, call later. Okay, so it's multiplying the values time 1,000. Which I think, okay, so he's basically doing, what he's doing is converting it from milliseconds to, yeah, that's what he's doing. Okay, so that time is in seconds. And then he's doing the math for you down here. That's what I want to add here. Add some better documentation. Just read only. Crap. Okay, well, at least we know mentally. It's actually calculated in milliseconds, but he's doing the math. And he's just converting this from milliseconds to seconds for you. Okay, cool. So we know. You only have half a second of... Man. It's kind of harsh. Oh no, what have we done? I forgot how you... Yeah. There's a way you can quickly climb the hierarchy. Where was that? Spawn protection? Yeah, we're gonna end up rewriting the system a lot because I need it to work for. I need people that are in the base when we add bases and stuff. I need them to have a really long protection timer, like 2 minutes. Whereas if they once they fast travel out, they don't have to sectors. They won't have spawn protection. Yeah, I think this is just a stopgap, what he threw in here. Because he doesn't have randomized spawn points and stuff. I don't think inside the outlying sectors or something. I don't know. I can't remember why the. I know it was important, but I don't remember why it was. Whatever. We'll just leave that in for now. We'll fix it down the road. I shouldn't say fix. I should say customize down the road. Another read-only script. That's okay. I think if we want to modify these scripts, I think we can do it using the. I could just like override. I can make a new script component. I can make a new script, turn it into a component, and then I can just pull this, like override this or inherit this, and then I can make all the changes I want without having to go crazy. And we already know this is using real time. Using real time, but then you're accelerating the game mode, which speeds things up. Oh, hey, here's the acceleration stuff too, right here. Nighttime acceleration. Get out of here with that. Okay, we're gonna use 10x acceleration at nighttime. Because as things currently stand, nighttime right now is awful in this game. It's kind of funny the nighttime in this game. So I have like my gaming monitor, which is like 4K HDR, like all nice, and then my other monitor on this computer is this old like junky 1080p monitor I just like use to keep documentation up and stuff. That other monitor, I can actually see the game better at nighttime. So what I do on conflicts, like I'll open up a screenshot folder on the other screen, and then I'll like creep up to the base, like I'll take a screenshot, and then I just instantly open up the screenshot on my other monitor. I'm like, okay, and I match up. I can see all the enemies perfectly on the other monitor. So then I'm like, okay, and I like use it as a. I don't full on like ESP with it, but it's and I don't like gamma. We used to call it gamma hacking back in the day. You know, when the game was dark, you just crank your gamma up really high and you can see everybody. And like a player that was using default settings can see you. I mean, not quite gamma hacking, but it's oh, random starting daytime. Boom, done. I didn't even notice that earlier. I don't even have to write a randomization code. I love this. This is awesome. Randomized starting weather. And the allow header settings, we saw this from the other thing. You can predefine a certain weather setting, and it'll just comply. Cool, we got a random starting time. Didn't have to code it ourselves. That's awesome. Okay, let's save that. Let's save game. What are you doing? There it goes. This is cool, man. This is cool. Okay, we are going to play full screen. Also, we'll see what happens. We haven't set factions or spawn points or anything up. I think that FIA spawn point is still there. So we're going to see if the game bugs out because it's going to see an FIA spawn point, but there's no FIA faction. Okay, I already know what's the problem is. It's because I edited the spawn points last time. I'm actually not worried about it. I'm really happy with that we got our game mode set up. We haven't added our briefing screens. Nope. Let's do the briefing screens. We need respawn. Okay, we need a respawn menu handler. Respawn menu handler component. Cool. And I need a respawn briefing component. I took that screenshot earlier, but it turns out I actually had these two items on my checklist. Respawn briefing components. Okay, cool. Yeah, let's try this one more time. Hopefully I didn't mess around with these spawn points too badly. I did. Yeah, I changed the faction. Okay, I think we have to get rid of all these spawn points, but hey, we're gonna see what happens. I just want to see what breaks. Okay, there's a way. There's a way using a keyboard shortcut to go up and down this hierarchy. I can't remember what it is. So this should bug out again because I modified the spawn points last time for different factions. So I think in theory, when this bugs out, if we just replace, yeah, there we go. Oh, this is a chat panel? Ooh, I may have to disable the that chat thing I added. I think we crashed the editor. No, it just takes forever. Game stop. Okay, rid of that. For now, we're gonna get rid of all this. I have it on my checklist so I can come back and work on this later. Just trying to see what errors I'm gonna get kicked out. I want to get to the point where I have a spawn point error. That's the error I'm expecting to see right now. Yeah, okay, so it... Oh, cool, it actually sees all three factions. How, though? We never added FIA. We added FIA to the old game mode, but not... Okay, he doesn't see a loadout. How do I go U? Loadout either. Okay, well, we've got this far. We know the game mode's working, and it has a spawn menu. So it doesn't seem like we made a lot of progress today, but I really do feel like we did. So we're gonna have to go through and what I think I already have the stuff on my to-do list. We just didn't get to it tonight. Yeah. Yeah, faction and loadout, and we'll also add spawn points to our list for next week. Okay, cool. So what we're gonna do next week is we're gonna get the factions properly sorted. I already have a really good idea how to do that because I went through in detail and read through the entire like data modding article and the create faction article. And I read actually a ton of articles, but those are the two big ones we want. So we're going to be able to fix these spawn points, and then we're going to go our loadout manager. We're going to reconfigure this entire loadout manager probably. And we're also going to do the faction manager. Faction manager is going to be pretty easy because we were doing it all wrong last time. Okay, that's why there's 3 factions in the game. But yeah, we were doing this all wrong. Like all this stuff I was manually editing in here, you can just pull up. I can just find it. It's really easy to find here. It's under configs, and you go down here to factions, and boom, you have a bunch of stuff that's already done here. And these config files, you can actually open them up in a text editor and edit them, which is clutch. And I already understand what they all do. Like campaign just means it's geared for conflict, has all the building stuff. So it's gonna be really easy to do. Should be really easy to do. But yeah, that's what we're gonna do next week. Faction spawn points, and we're gonna configure loadouts. Then after that, we get all that working, and we make sure all the base game functionality, like you can walk around. If we have time, we'll do peer tools as well, so we can check to make sure all the basic multiplayer functions are working, and then we'll start working on sectors. And that's where we're gonna probably have to start coding up a bunch of our own stuff, but that's shouldn't be too bad. So I will see you guys next week. I don't plan on taking a study week next week because I feel like I have enough knowledge in my brain right now. I got a couple weeks of actual work to do and debugging before I hit another wall on my knowledge. So I will see you guys next week. Later.